we have been looking at the basic premise of Christianity as good news. And our goal these past 5 weeks has been to awaken or reawaken our appreciation for the incredible good news that we discover in the Gospels. We've learned in the course of this series that good news is news, that God, in the person of Jesus Christ, has broken into human history. We've learned that good news is multifaceted. Jesus' life, death, and resurrection changed that history once and for all. And for us, forever. We've learned that the good news unfolds over time in our lives and in our world. And it will come to its fulfillment at the end of time, when Christ comes again in glory, as this feast of Christ the King anticipates. Today we want to look right at the very heart of the good news. And it comes at the cross, where Jesus hangs in what appears to be complete and utter defeat. In our gospel today, St. Luke tells us that the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him. There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." So Jesus is mocked by the religious rulers who envied and hated him. He's mocked by the soldiers carrying out his execution. The sign above his head is intended as further ridicule. And the mockery continues. One of the criminals who was hanged there kept deriding him and saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." Even the criminal, suffering the same fate as Jesus, makes fun of him. Then the whole direction of the scene changes. The good thief speaks up. Now, we call him good, but there was really actually nothing very good about him or about his life. His crucifixion was punishment for a life of violent crime. But here, in this moment, he rebukes the other man, saying, "Do you not fear God? We indeed have been condemned justly, but this man has done nothing wrong." So this guy here recognizes 3 important truths. First, he sees his own sinfulness. Second, he understands his need for a Savior. And third, he recognizes that his Savior is right there in front of him. As these truths come together in his mind, he turns to Jesus and says, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." See, he sees that Jesus is in fact a king, but his kingdom is not of this world, and he asks to be a part of it. That's all he does. He's got nothing to offer back to God. He cannot deny his violent crimes. He cannot change his past. He simply asks to be included in Jesus' kingdom. And Jesus replies, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Every breath that Jesus uttered from the cross was extremely painful. Just look at how he's hanging. Every breath would have been excruciating. But not only does Jesus answer the good thief, he actually promises him paradise. And the good news, the astonishingly good news, is that this promise is extended to every single person. Jesus shows through the cross and resurrection that the power behind the universe is not a brutal force or a random coincidental one, but a loving one. A God who so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son to suffer and to die for you and for me. A love so powerful that it can overcome death. A love so powerful that it can overcome all of our faults and failures. A love that says, you are loved beyond your imagination, beyond your mistakes, beyond anything you could ever do or fail to do. At its heart, the good news says exactly that. You are loved. Loved more deeply than you can understand. understand, and loved so greatly that God invites you, incredibly, to partner with him in the renewal and transformation of the whole world. Spending these past 5 weeks on the good news of the gospel, I feel like really we've only just begun to scratch the surface of this subject. And I have to admit that there were times that I felt inadequate before this huge task. Because the good news is so good, so astonishing, so incredible, that surely God could have found a better spokesman for it. But I also realize the good news is so immense that it cannot be communicated by just a single person, or even a single message series. It requires a community of people who are living out the good news, or at least trying their very best to do so, and thereby making it convincing in the rest of the world. We are that community. It is an incredible privilege and honor that God places this message in our hands. And he asks us to share it with the whole world. It is a message and a mission that deserves an investment in one way or another out of our whole lives. But on this stewardship weekend, we invite your financial investment. Today, as you leave Mass, you will receive a copy of our stewardship report. And it's not just numbers, it's a story. The story of what God is doing in our parish. And it shows signs of real spiritual health and hope. More people are returning to Mass. New parishioners are finding a home here. Individuals and families are entering our OCIA process. Our faith formation programs continue to welcome children, teens, and adults. Our ministries are active and serving, and people are stepping forward to participate, volunteer, and grow in faith. These are not just numbers to boast about. They are graces. They are evidence that God is really at work here in our parish. And all of this is possible because of your faithfulness, your generosity, and your desire to build something beautiful for God. You'll also find a commitment card in that report. We're asking you to take it home, to pray about it, and discern your stewardship commitment for the year ahead. The commitment we ask is simple. First, make giving a priority. Make giving here, in your place of worship, an act of worship. And the very best way to make it a priority is to make it automatic, to give electronically. That's the way I give to support the parish. In case you've never noticed, the collection basket never makes it up here. And if it did, I don't bring my wallet with me because it's awkward in these vestments. So I would just pass it along anyway. But I give automatically. And I invite you to join me in our automatic worship offering. Because we make automatic the things that are most important to us. Second, pick a percentage. Now the scriptures encourage us to give a tithe or 10%. Now I know that can sound overwhelming. So simply pick any percentage. Because it's more about the percent part than it is about the 10 part. Just start anywhere. Start at 1% if that's the step that you are ready to take. Followers of Jesus give a percentage because we trust Jesus' words about giving. That giving from our sustenance moves our hearts in God's direction. And finally, progress in your giving. Since giving moves our hearts towards God, we naturally want to grow in it, to progress and to deepen. The church grows in strength and health when the giving of her members grows. And as giving progresses, We have more resources to do what we're actually called to do, to bring more people into a loving relationship with the living Lord. That's why the church exists. That's why parishes exist. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but to bring more people into a loving relationship with the living Lord. Our job is not done until every person in Parry Sound has a loving relationship with the living Lord. These 3 steps are not about raising funds. They're actually about raising disciples. They're about the good news taking root in our hearts and overflowing out in the world. Your giving will help us continue to spread the good news, to pass on the faith to the next generation, to invest in kids and student programs, to expand our groups and member care, to grow our ministries, to invest in technology and communication, to reach more people in our community, and to strengthen our parish for the future. It is an important investment. In fact, I believe it's the most important investment